In this video, what I want to do is introduce you to the concept or the process of the order of operations. Order of operations. And let me just start by saying all that an operation is, right? All that an operation is just things like addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division, or exponents, so we'll say, etc. And all order of operations is a rule that tells us the correct sequence or order to follow when solving an expression, sorry, like just any math problem. So the order is important to ensure that everybody gets the same answer. So the order that we follow in math is given by this saying, PEMDAS, right? PEMDAS. And this is going to tell us the actual order that we need to solve expressions, starting with number 1, sorry, starting with solving what's ever in parentheses first. So parentheses. And then the second one, the second letter here is E, and this tells us that we're going to do exponents next. Exponents. And then these other two letters, M and D, stand for multiplication and division. Multiplication and division. So we'll just write multiplication and division. And what it means by multiplication and division is we're going to go through the expression starting from left to right and just work out any multiplication and addition problems we see. And you'll see this later. And then the last letters, A and S, stand for addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction. So let's just do one simple example here. We can write it up here. We will just say 2 plus 3 times 4 times 4. So let's just work through this with PEMDAS. Let's see, are there any parentheses? No. Are there any exponents? Are there any exponents? No. So now we see that there is multiplication. So our third step tells us to do multiplication and division. So we're going to go from left to right. Is there multiplication between 2 and 3? No. But there is multiplication between 3 and 4. So this is going to get us 12. And then we just move down the rest of the expression. And now we move down to the next step, and we see this is addition and subtraction. So there is addition here. So we will just add these, and that gives us 14. Let's do the same expression as last time, but this time there's going to be parentheses. So we can see 2 plus 3 times 4. And I'll write down PEMDAS over here. So we're going to start with parentheses. So we see there's parentheses here, and we're going to start with the values inside of them and the operations. So we see there's only addition, so we will add. So this becomes 5. All this becomes 5, and then we're still multiplying by 4. And there's no exponents, no multiplication, there is multiplication and division now. So let's do that. So there is 5 times 4, and that is 20. That is 20. So our answer to this problem is 20. And notice how the parentheses completely change the value of the expression. That's why order of operations is so important, because it allows us, without a doubt, to know how to solve an expression, and so that everybody will get the same answer. Let's do this problem. So let's have 5 times 2 plus 3 squared. So we'll write PEMDAS here. So we start with parentheses. So we have this expression here, 2 plus 3 squared in parentheses. And when we get to parentheses, we're going to actually just use PEMDAS again, but only inside the parentheses. So we'll look for parentheses within the parentheses, and there is none. So now we're going to look for exponents within the parentheses, and there is an exponent. So we can change this expression to 2, and then let's evaluate this exponent. Well, 3 to the second power, or 3 squared, is the same thing as 3 times 3. And we know 3 times 3 is 9. So we're still adding 3 squared, but now 3 squared is equivalent to 9. And we're still multiplying this by 5. And now we're looking for multiplication or division within the parentheses, and it looks like there's none, but there is addition. So 2 plus 9 is the same thing as 11. And since there's only one value now inside the parentheses, we don't necessarily need them, so we can remove those. And now we're multiplying by 5. Since there's no exponents, we move on to multiplication and division. So 5 times 11 is just going to be 55, and 55 is our answer to this problem. Now let's do this problem. Let's do the problem, parentheses, 5 plus 3 times 2 squared, or 2 raised to the second power, minus 1. And I'll write down PEMDAS here. PEMDAS. So let's go left to right looking for parentheses, and we see there is a parentheses here, 5 plus 3. So there's only one operation, so we can just do that within the parentheses, and this will be 8. But remember, we don't need to write the parentheses since it's only one value now, so we will just write 8. And this is being multiplied to the expression 2 squared minus 1, and that is all. And that is all in parentheses. And now we're looking for more parentheses, which it looks like there is some here. And then we're going to look for parentheses within the parentheses, or we're going to evaluate PEMDAS within the parentheses. So there's no extra parentheses in here, but there is an exponent, so we can rewrite this expression as 8 times, let's see, 2 squared is the same thing as 2 times 2, which is the same thing as 4. And we're still subtracting 1 here. And now we're looking for multiplication and division within the parentheses, and there is none. And now we're looking for addition and subtraction within the parentheses, and there is a minus 1. So this is going to be 8 times 4 minus 1 is 3. We would write the parentheses, but it's only one value. So now that there are no parentheses, we can continue with the whole expression. And let's see, there are no exponents, but there is multiplication. Okay, there is multiplication. So 8 times 3 is going to be 24. So our answer to this expression, 5 plus 3 in parentheses times parentheses 2 squared minus 1 is 24. Let's look at this problem now. So we have parentheses 4 plus 3 squared divided by 7. So let's start with parentheses. Let's start with parentheses. So we see there's parentheses here, so we're gonna do PEMDAS inside the parentheses. So there's no other parentheses. There is an exponent, however, so we can rewrite 3 to the second power, or 3 squared, as 9, since 3 times 3 is 9. And remember, we're still adding this 4 to the value and still dividing all of this by 7. And now we're going to look for multiplication and division within the parentheses, and there is none, but there is addition. Okay, there is addition. So 4 plus 9 is 13. And remember, we could write the parentheses, but we don't need to. And 13 divided by 7. Well, we can just rewrite this as an improper fraction. We could say 13 over 7, or we could say, let's see, this would be 1 and 6/7. 1 and 6/7. Let's do one last problem, and I'll try to make this one a little bit more challenging. So we can do the problem 5 times 3 plus 2. All of this subtracted by 4 squared. And then we are going to divide all of this by 3. And first, we need to remember what a fraction means. All a fraction means is that you're going to divide all of the numerator by what is in the denominator. So we can actually go ahead and rewrite this. We can rewrite the numerator all in parentheses as 5 times 3 plus 2 minus 4 squared, and then all of this being divided by 3. So now let's just start with PEMDAS. So we see, going from left to right, there is parentheses here and here. These parentheses are going to show all of these operations within this parentheses. So now we're going to look for parentheses within the parentheses, and it looks like there is some this time. So now we can evaluate this parenthesis. So now we're actually going to look for parentheses within this parentheses. So we see there's no other parentheses, no exponents, no multiplication or division, but there is addition. So this is going to be 5, and we don't need the parentheses here. So then we can just rewrite the rest of this. And now we're going to look for exponents, and there is some. So this is going to be 5 times 5 minus 4 squared. And then 4 squared is going to be 4 times 4, which is going to be the same thing as 16. This is just 16. We're still dividing by all this out here, the 3. And then we have multiplication and division next. And there is a 5 times 5. So this is going to be 5 times 5 is 25. And we're still subtracting 16 and dividing all of that by 3. And now we're looking for addition and subtraction within the parentheses, and there is here. So 25 minus 16 is 9. We don't need to rewrite the parentheses here. And now this is being divided by 3. This is being divided by 3. And we know that 9 divided by 3 is just 3. So our answer to this problem up here, this big problem up here, is just going to be 3. And we are done.